as human beings. So in heartful communication, it's like a central principle is to refocus our attention, to tune our consciousness, our awareness to what is it that is motivating me, what is my need when I say to somebody, oh, how can you be so selfish? Now there's the accusation, there's the judgment, and I'm into a fight with somebody who then says, I'm not selfish, what about you? You know. But when I tune into myself, how can you be so selfish? I say to myself, what is my need? What am I longing for? If I'm saying that somebody's selfish, it's because I really want to have some kind of connection with them. I'd love some consideration. I might long for some support. But the problem is we don't say that. We don't say, right now, I'm feeling exhausted and I would just love to have some support and, for you to help me with this. Instead of that, we say, you're so selfish. You're always thinking about yourself. You only do what you want to do, So those patterns of speech in heartful communication, first of all, we recognize them. We get to know them. We become aware of judgment, blame, accusation, demand, labeling people. You are a racist, you are a feminist, whatever it is, those labels. We become aware of those forms of language which will disconnect us, absolutely disconnect us, not only from the other person, because they won't enjoy hearing that, but also from ourselves, from our own hearts. We're up here when we're in those disconnecting, alienating forms of language. So we learn how to say it differently and focus on expressing what that need is that is alive in me, like in that example, that I would just love to have some support or companionship or whatever it might be. To say my feelings, not I feel that you are. That's not a feeling. That's another version of an accusation. So, maybe I'm feeling a little lonely and I would just love some companionship. I'd love to be with you. But we don't say that. We just say, you ignore me. So this focus, this shift of our awareness to the needs, then can manifest itself in how we express ourselves. So we're saying what is alive in us, what's authentic, what's true for us, in such a way that it will connect with the other person because they also know what it means to feel alone, to need some companionship, some support. They can connect at that level rather than this barrier which comes up when we use the other forms of language. So that needs consciousness manifests in how I understand myself. So if I'm perhaps blaming myself, my goodness, you made a real mess of that, didn't you, Liz? Haven't you learned anything? I learn how then to hear my own longing perhaps for competence, it might be, or to make a contribution in a way that's meaningful. I recognize my own feelings, my own needs, and we do that through that process of self-connection. I use the needs consciousness when I'm listening to somebody. I'm trying to hear what it is, what they long for. Let's say they're, very angry with me about something that I have done or not done. Let's say they're saying to me, you didn't keep to that agreement. You said that you were going to be there at 11 o'clock. You said you were going to do this by this time. You haven't done it. Then the whole thing is wasted. So if they're angry with me, what mostly people will do is try to defend themselves. It's not my fault, it's because didn't happen and I didn't get the printer was broken or whatever it might be. Or my mother-in-law had a problem and I had to, attend to her. I have means of justifying and excusing myself. But instead of that, I try to hear by listening with my heart to what they're actually longing for when they're accusing me of this. And then I use that needs consciousness to gently, tentatively reflect back what I imagine or guess might be important to them. So in that instance of being accused that you just haven't done what you said you're going to do, you're so unreliable. So I might say, it sounds like you're really frustrated, and you would have loved for us to be able to keep to agreements, that I would keep to those agreements that we made, so that you could have a sense of, yes, you could rely on me there. So I tune in to what they long for. And of course, for most people, they don't expect to have that. That's empathy, that's trying to connect with what matters to them. So that's the way that the needs consciousness would also manifest in how I receive what is alive in the other person, how I listen for their feelings and listen for their needs. So that consciousness then, it's like woven through all your daily interactions. And in a way, you could say it's like seeing human behavior through a different lens, through the lens of what are the values, what are the longings, what are the needs that at any moment somebody is trying to fulfill when they do what they do and when they say what they say. Even if I don't enjoy what they do or what they say, I have this possibility of refocusing my consciousness. And what happens is, and this is what, hundreds and hundreds of people who've learned Heartful Communication tell us, is that it brings about openness of heart, compassion, because now they're understanding somebody at the level of the heart rather than judging them at the level of mental activity, at the level of the head. So the needs consciousness aspect of Heartful Communication is one of the aspects that I think probably everybody who does a Heartful Communication program says is transformative, actually. It's transformative in that it enables them to find a sense of connection, a quality of connection with themselves and with other people, which wasn't there before.
As we end this session, we leave you with an exercise. Study the following statements and behaviors and try and identify what underlying positive needs do you sense could be motivating these. What do you think the person is longing for deep down? You can extend this exercise of identifying needs to your own life situations. Wherever you are, try to sense what need or value someone is attempting to meet when they are speaking or when they are doing something that you don't like. The more you practice, the easier it becomes. Thank you for watching. Do join us for the next session. Until then, goodbye.